Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for episode 20 of the challenge series. We're getting close to the half season point. Remember that a season is 48 races, or 48 episodes. And, just like there was at episode 12, there'll be a big championship at episode 24. So these races are starting to really count for something now, because big races like these, closer to the date of the championship, will help, give you a better chance of qualifying in. We got the longest race so far in the challenge series on offer in this episode, along with one of the shortest. So there'll be some interesting variety in this one. We're green from the first race here in episode 20, and to say that Thrasher's crew has really taken its firm foundation in the challenge series would kind of be an understatement. This is a 20-car race, except the entire running order is, except for a couple of exceptions, characters from Thrasher's crew, and then the only exceptions are actual friends of Thrasher. The camera is on myself in a bit of a situational irony, but everyone else, and we got Taylor with their new Genesis G70, Thrasher, Tyler, and Gemini also in the race, but everyone else is somebody from Thrasher's crew. Some new: Sebastian Orleans, I'm assuming I'm saying that right, Austrian professional racing driver in his crossbow, Kira Kishibe in what I can best describe as a Fanta 370Z. What I understand to be like the mascot of Thrasher's crew, Veronica Katsuragi in her 2002 NSX. From what I've been told, this is the person that Honoka met after episode 6 that gave her a pep talk. Joseph Miller in his incredibly fluorescent FK8 Civic. And Amy Shaughnessy, who's driving a Mitsubishi GTO. Are the new ones in this event. Garrison just slams into me, and Ice slams into Kyozo Kitano. Also, Hikari is here, because while he's not technically part of Thrasher's crew, he is the sibling of two drivers that are. And because we needed a 20th driver. I didn't think the crossbow would have this kind of top speed, I'm not gonna lie. I figured this thing would just be in a glorified go-kart that would top out at like 150. Thrasher himself has not made a whole lot of progress up the field yet. Mind you, this is a lot of pack racing pretty much. It honestly just looks like a Daytona version of a road course. Bye! Ice a little bit inhibited by Shaughnessy, but he does not care, for he has a Lamborghini, so your argument is invalid. Unless Orleans or Katsuragi surprise me, as their cars are in 720s, the 720 category. I should also mention that, yeah, this race is the debut of the new category system for the top half of the series. The 600 and 640 stay the same, but now 675 and 730 have been replaced by 680, 720, and 760, although there's nobody actually in that part full-time yet. There are a lot of 720 cars that have an alternate tuning sheet that I've overviewed that puts them in 760. Brian Ice being one of them, but he does not have that tuning sheet equipped right now, so he's running 720. Also, we've had am I a seal now? It's been recently brought to my attention that we've had another Louis Berkeley moment. 20 episodes and I've been saying Michiko's name completely wrong. There's not a G there, it's a K. Ironic, she's trying to defend from her brother, Hikari, behind her. Shaughnessy has just lost a lot of places on this lap. I think they were like 4th at the start of this lap. Now they're about to be like possibly 10th. Jesus, Taylor. They might be 10th by the end of this lap. Not by the end of the sector. They might be 10th. There's a wasp outside my window. Better out there than in here. Taylor helpless in that situation. Orleans blocking Tyler like a maniac. I don't know if Orleans is correct, but I also can't imagine how else you'd say it. Orleans? Kira, you need to shift. I took the lead somewhere throughout the course of that lap, and I have kind of run away. Oh, and this is classic. These two are not friendly with each other. I know this much. It's not malicious, but they don't exactly like each other's personalities too much. But Ice will just slide away uncontested with P2. Probably due to the category difference. Seems Takahata's gonna have the last lap over Akira at this rate. And the rest of that family, for that matter. Unless Michiko could say something about it, as she's doing a bit of drifting. Doing a lot of drifting. Holy drifting! Alright, just flex, why don't you? We get it, your other car is a Toyota Chaser, but holy shit. Gonna do it here? Excuse me? Takahata attempts to, almost does all but spin her out there, but she does not care. And she will take place. Suddenly Veronica. So 2x2 into the hairpin. Now, as bloated as Mercury Racing has been lately, I wonder if there's any conceivable idea that all Thrasher's crew would sort of band together and make a giant super team. That would be hard to stop. Speaking of stop, Brian Ice seems intent on doing that to me, as he's doing a bit of drifting of his own. But considering he's driving a Diablo, I don't think he wanted to do this drifting. I think it just happened. and seems to have lost a considerable amount of time just trying to keep the thing going forwards. Ice has the fastest lap, so the pace is there, but he needs to have the mindset. He's pretty much all but lost sight of me at this point. I am a silver speck on the screen by now. What's more interesting to me right now is the fact that Francesca Fidanzi is leading the 680 class and is ahead of many 720 cars. Michiko has hers set up that way as right now, as does Hikari, Veronica, Tyler, Taylor, Sebastian, and that's it. These two are the only 640s in the race. 680, 680, 680, 680, 680, 680, 680, 680, 680, 680. There's 10 cars in 680. And then the other 8 are 720s. Ice is multiple seconds behind me. And this is what I mean when I say that this is the longest race so far. Any other race would have been done at the end of the last lap. If not because of the lap count, then because of a time limit, like on the roulette races, which we're branding them to. Oh. No one saw that. It didn't actually damage my car any, it just scraped a bit of paint off the, it just scraped a bit of paint off the left front fender. It'll buff out. It's not suspension damage. That's all that really matters to me. It's a basic silver. It's like, I don't remember what it was. I think it was literally just Gran Turismo Silver. So it's pretty easy to just get more paint for this color. As I head through the last turn, Thrasher's crew meet Mercury Racing. I will grab the victory. Brian Ice, probably really getting tired of meeting Mercury Racing at this point. This is like the 5th or 6th time he has placed second behind somebody from Mercury. Francesca Fidanzi will win the 680 category of the race, while defeating many cars in a higher category. So quite an impressive run for her. It was almost a sibling drag race. Hikari could not get alongside completely. It was night when we started, by the way. Running gags! We're here for race 2 of the episode, and we've gone from the longest race in the series so far to probably one of the shortest, if not the shortest. 3 laps of deep forest. The camera roll only lasted 6 minutes. So, literally going to be half the length of the previous race. We were on board with Barbara Page and her Stingray concept. This is a 640 event. Nothing too out of the ordinary in the back. The only thing of note really are the 2 debuting vehicles in the race. Lynette Molsen has a new 2017 Alpine A110, and this one's interesting. Sebastian Scham finally gets to race his Beetle, and he's going to race it well. He's going for the lead already. The way that this has happened is he will actually be clear at the braking zone, while Sen sends it back down the inside. So we got a battle for the lead on the first lap of the race. It's a short race, and clearly these two know it. This has come to be by way of Sham doing an engine swap. Yeah, the Beetle, the Type 1200, was considered too slow to compete before. Until he went and put a Porsche 964 engine in the back of the thing, and now the thing's making 300 horsepower, and almost just took the lead again. Mulsanne just really aggro on the brakes. That's about the only thing keeping her in play here, but Sham with the inside lane finally makes that stick. That was quite a battle for the lead between the two debuting cars. I'm running third along with my teammate Maki. Travis Wild, who bears some battle scars when the camera flips, he had to get a replacement bumper for his 911. As you can see there, they're not cheap, and painting them is not cheap either. So yeah, he's got a white mask because the crash he had at Daytona in the last episode tore the bumper off. He might get that painted back over, I don't know. And as we check in on the car we're supposed to be focusing on, of Barbara running 10th, about half distance here. As the sun is descending in the background, the lighting is affected. This is kind of what happens when there's no sun, it gets dark. Newsflash, I know this is a shocking discovery. The top speed on the Corvette is astounding. The braking on the Corvette is not. Apparently. Or she just broke like a coward. Bit of contact there. Some smoke came out between the two vehicles. Whoa, hold on to that. Sham seems to have gotten comfortable at the front. It is funny how it's a 4-speed in the Volkswagen. He's not even using all 4 gears. It's a 7-speed in the Alpine, and it's a 5-speed in the Corvette. And I think it's also a 5-speed in the 308 and in the Porsche. Somehow I'm the weird one here for having a 6-speed. Go figure, right? Actually, this might be a 4-speed, I don't remember. So now we're really going to put the top speed of that Corvette to the test. Effortlessly outdrags the A110, but can she get to the bug in time? That looks like a yes. That's an astounding difference in speed. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. That's not the way you're supposed to be facing. Almost saves it, but that's a lot of smoke. Oh! That didn't sound good at all. Oh my god. That's a DNF for the car. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. I think that looked like brake failure to me. It was a 5-speed, by the way. Not relevant, but it's a 5-speed. Oh god, that was terrifying. Yeah, she went to brake and it looks like one of the rotors just gave out and tailspinned. And that's so loud! Jesus Christ! It's a 45-mile-an-hour impact, but that brake is going to be a pricey fix. That just looks comical when they pan out there. I'm trying to get a different angle from the initial spin, but it keeps giving me the same one. Oh, here we go. Here's different. Kind of. It's like she kind of kept it straight too. If her brakes still worked, she could have recovered that and made a pass. But her brakes went out from that. So she just kept locking up and creating a smoke trail. And now somewhere off screen, that is a very dead Corvette. One girl's trash is another man's treasure. As finally reunited with his Volkswagen Bug, Sebastian Sham will grab the victory at Deep Forest. While San, debuting her new car, grabs second, and Maki will grab third for Mercury. Probably one of the worst results Mercury's had in a while, and it's still a podium. Well, I really left this for a while, huh? Are we gonna run the entire cooldown lap here? There we go. So yeah, that is, that's not good. I don't know if that's even gonna be fixable. Like, the body damage is fine. That was a 45-mile-an-hour impact. But the brakes went out on the car. And when brakes explode, it usually does some pretty significant damage to the parts of the car around the brakes, like the suspension and the tires. So, admittedly, after a spin like that, she's not only looking at fixing body damage, but fixing whatever brake parts exploded just now, which, based on the way that crash went, that looks like that was a rear brake failure. I don't know if it was both rear brakes or if it was just one of the two, but a rear brake rotor or pad or something exploded, grenaded the car, and it just went into a helpless tailspin, and just the brakes left a smoke trail. But I also imagine that's probably a couple of shredded tires from a spin at that speed. That was 150 miles an hour when the spin began. And possibly some suspension damage from the sudden heat exposure. I don't know. It's gonna be pricey, especially for that car. We're here for race 3 of the episode at Laguna Seca for a standard 4-lap race. And this is the 680 category we're racing with this time. And we are racing along with Ty McIntosh in his newly redesigned GR Supra. It's the same car, it just has a new livery on it, basically. He now kind of joins my dad in the Orange Throwback Brigade, because this, if I remember right, is a reference to a car from 2011, except that car was a Chevy and it was sponsored by a bunch of companies that aren't on this car. It was not sponsored by HKS and Redline Oil, it was sponsored by Bass Pro Shops and I think McDonald's. Obviously, Goodyear was on the car. Mac Tools might have been on it, but I don't think... Yeah, and then also Valvoline on the windshield banner. That's a little unique bit. Anyway, he's already up, looking at 14th, possibly 13th, at the end of lap 1. Indeed 13th. Better exit than the RX-7. This fool is here in a car in the wrong category. Joe Moore is in a 640 vehicle running with the 680 cars. There's nothing explicitly saying he wasn't allowed to. It's just that it's not advised. However, if he does finish ahead of anybody, it'll probably leave a pretty good mark on his skills. But I'm not super hopeful. as we just watched Thrasher at his home circuit make the move on Gemini for P2. Only Hikaru Taniguchi remains before he can complete his Monterey conquests. And it's going to be a corkscrew conquest, it appears. Or just about not. Hikari defends for his life. And Tyler already up to P5. I'll just pick a different lane bank turn, it's not that hard. Now Maki's turn to try and pass the Supra. Gemini with a reimagined car for 680 with the new number board, a new sponsor in the form of Yamaha, and a new aero package. So, figured he would be doing well with this vehicle, but I think he placed like 17th in the first race, and now he's losing places like very quickly here at Laguna Seca. Oh my god, Tyler just threw that thing in there and grabs 2 places before we even hit the apex. Wrong view. As Thrasher is going to look for the lead again, he will get nothing. It's a tough ask, but he might be able to actually outrun. Yeah, he's going to outdrag the R33. He has the inside, so he'll have the advantage. Thrasher makes it stick through the kink, and Tyler will follow suit. Now Tyler will almost go for the goal for the E. Go for the lead, but he couldn't find space. This is like the duel of the fates here. It's Thrasher versus Tyler. Send me a postcard. Because I didn't have the time to put my RX-7 in 680 for this race, even if I wanted to. I was also, you know, kinda over in Switzerland, so I couldn't really do that too easily. Tyler gets ahead into the braking zone. Thrasher licks the stamp and sends it into turn 1. Tyler forced to give way. Thrasher will muscle his way back by. Obviously these two very, very close friends with each other and with myself off the track, but oh, Thrasher just parks the bus on exit. Tyler unable to go anywhere. There are no friends on a racetrack. Your goal is to pass them. It does not matter who they are. Thrasher defending into the kink. He doesn't want the same thing to happen to him that he did to Hikari a lap or two ago. A lap or two. It was a lap ago, Riker. The passage of time is not that hard of a concept to grasp. As here it goes into the corkscrew, Thrasher gives no space. He loses. Oh, that's even uglier than the last crash, for a different reason. Yeah, Thrasher just loses control. Unexpected that Tyler would be there. That's not a DNF. He's kept the car rolling. But that thing has got to be pretty badly wounded, I have to guess. Thrasher, although I don't know how much he'll be able to enjoy the victory, he will head out of the last turn, and he will take a controversial victory here at Laguna Seca. His third of the sort at the track. But he doesn't want to do. Yeah, you can see his car's crab walking. It's got a lot of suspension damage, and if there were another lap, it might not have finished. Maki with another podium. in the episode. Make it 2 in a row for her. And well, obviously she was the highest finishing Mercury driver. She's the only one that was here. These 6 finished below a 640 class car. You guys suck. For race 4 of the episode, we head to Kyoto Driving Park for a 3-lap event in the 720 cars. An even shorter race than Deep Forest, I think. The races will probably be about the same length, actually. It's just that the recordings might not be the same length because A, it hung on the exit of the race for a while at Deep Forest, and also because I showed the replay of Barbara's horrific crash 4 separate times. The car Focus is Veronica Katsuragi, the shining idol to the idols of Mercury Racing. Go figure, right? Host of the Fuse 94.7, at least in the afternoons and at midnight. It's amazing she's even been able to make so much time to race in this event, considering this is very clearly midday. I know she's probably pre-recorded something, but she doesn't advertise. Alright, Carly. Watts took a few days off. She had excuse me. Watts has taken quite a bit of time off from the Challenge Series as she got into a biking accident outside of the track. Like she's on a bike and she just fell over, but she happened to fall over near a cliff edge. She's recovered now, obviously, but perhaps not the same driver she once was. Jeez, you want to get any closer to that Porsche, Veronica? I know you and her are friends and all, but that's a little close. Oh, that's a big curb moment. With Barbara trying to run another race, try and shake off the death-defying experience she had a couple of rounds ago. Hopefully she doesn't total this car too. Whoa! Expect some big air here. Bye Parker, bye Parker. That's for NHRL, bitch. I didn't even hit him. I should have hit him. Brian Ice wants to get around him too, obviously. Veronica, this ain't the expressway. Don't have to flash your high beams at her. Please put both hands on the wheel. I don't know why the driver model in this game does that. 10 and 2, my guy. Oh, this is going to be something. They're going to be 3 wide into 1. This isn't really a passing zone even. And Ice will try to choke Veronica out, but she will find real estate. She will grab P2. She'll grab 2 places, both from Parker and from Ice. Ice actually kind of lost that. He went from probably would have overtaken the Corvette to not overtaking the Corvette and being passed by an NSX. Well, this is something. Asher told me everything about you, as is Honoka. Let's see what you got there, Radio Star. Yeah, flash your lights all you want. To my apex. as it's the final sector of the race. Veronica will have 2 more attempts to pass me. And here's goes one of them, and she's not close enough to try. She gets a solid run, though. But my Viper has a lot of horsepower she'll have to contend with. She'll try the outside I defended low. She tries a delayed exit, but it is not enough. Plus an NSX moment, bit of snap oversteer, so I will grab my second win of the episode here at Kyoto Park. Over Thrasher's mascot. Johnny Parker will maintain third over the Lamborghini driver, as Brian Ice loses to Mercury Racing once more. Barbara Page at least finishes the race. Green, considering how on fire she was the last 2 episodes, seems to have finally lost her momentum with a mediocre 12th place. Quick scroll down the rest of the results. Travis Wilde still not able to find any success with that $3 million car. Lost to a Shelby GT350 that I think cost like 80 grand or something. That really makes you wonder. Should have bought a Corvette, Travis. Nice lights. We're here from the roulette race here at High Speed Ring. And yes, that is the new name for the potluck races. We rebranded them to the roulette races. After I've been informed that potluck has nothing to do with a raffle or a lottery, and it's instead just bring food to a gathering. Maki, the camera car, just got the race start of a lifetime and went from 20th to 5th before we even got to turn 2. Joe Moore, again, displaying his journeyman style, runs 3 races, but only one of them was he in the ideal category. Sham once again runs in his Beetle, and they got this thing fixed very fast, I would like to point out. The Laguna Seca and High Speed Ring races took place 22 hours apart, and they got this thing fixed and shipped here in time for that. I don't know how the fuck. I wonder if it was fixed well. I don't think so, I gotta be honest. Only in the roulette races can we have this kind of running order. We've got a Ford Roadster, a Radical SR3 like privateer LMP car, a truck, an old Porsche with a white mask, an old Ford Mustang, a Porsche engined Volkswagen Bug, an old Challenger, a NASCAR themed Supra, and the list goes on. There's the Crossbow, whatever the hell this thing is, a drag tuned Chevy Nova, and leading the race is a world-class sports car from like 2007. Why you wouldn't get an SLR McLaren and a Ford Roadster in the same race anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen? Anywhere else. Speaking of the Ford, or speaking of the Ford Roadster, no, we're speaking of the SLR McLaren. Maki's catching it in a 680 car. This thing sounds just evil from the outside, and then you get onto an onboard camera and it just sounds boring. Riley Blanchard is trying to stick with the 680 car, but Maki is en fuego at the moment. Isn't that ironic? Fate has drawn these two together to the same track, but Maki barely even interacted with it this time. Ryan Wolf is pulling back away, so maybe we won't have an upset winner overall, but it's hard to say for sure. Almost 200. Almost 200. No, heaven's sake, Bradley, it's a corner. It's not that hard. Ah, that's too much curb. Whoops. Did you see a speedometer change there? Whoa! The front is quite spread out. And a KTM Crossbow and a Chevy Nova are battling for P6. Only in the roulette races, folks. Only here. Mainly because these two aren't in the same category, so... These two cars could not be any more different from one another. I'm gonna need you to move. Now, Maki has caught Ryan Wolf. He may have made a mistake off screen, and now with that daring outside move, Maki is leading overall in a lower category car. She is a 680 class, leading the roulette race over 4 720 category cars. Ryan Wolf is catching back up. Superior horsepower doing that for him. But Maki runs the high lane. I've been able to teach her about how progressive banking works, and a German man like Ryan Wolf, who's never seen an oval in his life, doesn't know this. It's also progressive there. That basically taught Maki how high-speed ring ticks. So that's probably, I'm going to take at least partial credit if she wins, because it'll be mostly from information I have given her on the circuit. Which, I guess, that is the main reason they wanted me on the team, because they knew I had a lot of knowledge of driving. I've had some knowledge of setups, I have knowledge of short shifting, which Maki's just utilized there to get better traction, something her Maserati's been struggling with so far in this race. A lot of horsepower. You'd think Ryan would learn from seeing Maki do it. But yeah, when they approached me about joining Mercury Racing, a little bit forcefully, the main thing that they said was, you know, racing experience and expertise could help Mercury Racing hit the track running. Even if I'm not the best driver, I have plenty of knowledge from racing for 7 years. Speaking of, that's not at all relevant, but laps cars. We've hit the 600 category runners who are, well, not fast. These 3 cars probably have less than half of Maki's horsepower, let alone Ryan's. It seems like Mr. O'Reilly might obstruct Ryan Wolf a tiny bit, and he will. Not a lot, but enough to give Maki some space. She also has a bit of an ally there in the form of Nico, who she just overtook on the front straightaway. Nico literally moved over for her. But she may not do the same for Ryan. No. That's just evil. Wow, I didn't teach them that. I didn't teach them how to screw other people over to help each other. Well, that's not really screwing people over. That's just really awkward, out of place team play. That's team orders, but on like a different level. Nishikino is faster than you. Yeah, short shifting, progressive banking, car setups. I don't want to say I've contributed a lot to Mercury Racing's success, but I mean, I have won 2 races in this episode, so it's not like I'm not contributing. And then even when I'm not on the track, things that I know that I've passed on to the other girls have helped them win races. How else do you think Reen won 3 in a row? That's a size difference. My God. And they might get in Ryan's way too. He hits 203 on the main drag. He's pushing that thing. But it doesn't matter because he's now caught behind 2 vehicles. And are they blocking him? Or was he just an idiot? Well, that's pretty much sealed the deal. The timer ran out, so I could not have a chance at Blanchard for 3rd. I don't know if I was actually catching them or not. Couldn't really tell. I was too busy trying not to crash. Fidanzi minus Maki wins her category, beating the 720 car of Sebastian Orleans. And Nozomi will win the 640 category, convincingly. And Nico also won the 600 category. So Mercury Racing will win 3 of the 4 categories in play, as here comes Maki down the main straight. Lights flashing, inside lane, everything else. Ryan Wolf dejected and defeated. And Blanchard takes probably much needed podium. She's not had a whole lot of success lately. And that'll about wrap it up, both on the race and on the episode entirely. Yeah. They could not make the podium, but Maki wins overall and the 680 class. Technically, the 720 class is the only thing Mercury Racing didn't win, as Nozomi wins 640 by a couple of seconds over Sham, and Nico wins 600 by several seconds over Thomas. And that'll do things here for episode 20. Episode 21 will have quite an interesting thing going on. Or at least it might. We recently had a couple of other drivers hired to the administration team because, you know, the series is getting bigger. It's not the 40-man crew that used to be the Challenge Series back in the Assetto Corsa days when it was just Gina, Nitori, and myself running it. Now we've got a series of like many dozens of characters, nearly at 100 drivers. We need more like administration here. So we've had Thrasher on the administration team, as he is sort of responsible for his crew, all 16 of them. 15, I know how to count. Well, 15 including himself. And he's sort of like an all-around, just like the other 3 of us. He's not having to do paperwork, but he is having to like organize He's helping to organize events. There's our go-kart track there, one. Why? There's a go-kart track on the infield of high-speed ring, but there's no way to drive it. Not that I'd care if there was. I don't even have a go-kart in this game. We also have hired Ross Drinkwater as the Chief of Recruiting Advisory. All that he handles is recruiting new drivers into the series. If you can find anybody who's interested in a semi-pro privateer touring series like the Challenge series, that's what we've referred to ourselves, semi-professional, beginner-friendly touring series. What was the other word in there? It was like semi-professional privateer. That's what it was, because everyone owns their own car for the most part. Semi-pro, beginner-friendly privateer touring series. That is the Challenge series. So if he finds anybody who's interested in that, any fellow refuse drivers from his own disciplines or just anywhere else, just like Colin Morris and Dedrick Schwartz, you know, hearsays are not hearsay, but like word of mouth is always allowed. If like, you know, like Michiko is here because Akira gave her the idea to race. Ryan Wolf is here because Dedrick Schwartz told him of the series. And so word of mouth and friend-to-friend conversations is a common way that drivers have ended up here, especially in the earlier days of it. But now we have like en masse recruiting advisors like Ross Drinkwater and Thrasher and Nittery to a certain extent. I haven't really handled it much in a while. Most that I've done lately is when I got the former Muse members, which is ironic. I recruited them, and then I refused to be recruited by them at first, but then didn't refuse forever. I mean, it's weird. Before I run over the episode limit, I'm just going to end off the episode here. Episode 21 maybe won't be any different at all, but who knows.